3 weeks into the NBA season, the Cleveland Cavaliers have still not lost and sit in first place in the NBA at 12-0. Not only that, they have the 6th best start in NBA history at 12-0, and in only 2 more wins, they'll tie 4th place at 14-0. And if they can get to 24-0, which is very unlikely, they'll tie the Golden State Warriors from 2016 when they went 73-9. But as unlikely as that is, they don't need to set any records to prove that they've already become a really, really, really good team. And this team looks very, very, very good in the Eastern Conference and are easily at least the 2nd best team in the Eastern Conference, especially as now. And this team is everything that you would want in a contender. They remind a lot of people of the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, where they don't have that one guy who's going to go out and give you 30 points a night and carry a team to a win. Although Donovan Mitchell can be that guy at times, he isn't consistently a 30-point per game scorer and isn't a upper 3 to 5 player in the NBA. And while he is comfortably top 10 to 12, and right now he's playing like a top 5 player, he isn't the superstar that a Steph Curry or Kevin Durant were on those Golden State Warriors teams, or even a Nikola Jokic a couple of years ago. And normally a team will have a top 3 to 5 player if they're going to be a championship contender. And while Cleveland doesn't necessarily have this, what they do have is incredible depth. And this team has more depth than almost anybody else in the NBA outside of the Boston Celtics. And right now, Cleveland has 6 players averaging over 10 points a game. And even outside of those guys, they have Georges Niang averaging 6.8, Sam Merrill averaging 6.8, and then Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro also averaging around 5 points a game, who can give you spot buckets at any time. And in terms of their starters, you have Donovan Mitchell averaging 23 and 3, and then you have Darius Garland also averaging over 20 points a game at 20.2 in only 29 minutes a game. And the impressive thing about this team is that their minutes have been very much spread out. Donovan Mitchell is averaging only 30 minutes a game, and they have even almost 10 guys averaging over 10 minutes a game. And that goes to show how deep this team actually is, that they can put in so many different players and so many different lineups at different times throughout a game that they don't have to wear out their top players. And if you go into their front court, they have 2 of the best defensive bigs in the entire NBA in Evan Mobley at power forward and Jarrett Allen at center. And Evan Mobley is also averaging 18 points a game. Jarrett Allen's averaging a double-double with 13.5 points and 10.5 rebounds, as well as 1.3 blocks. And Evan Mobley is even better in the block department at 1.7 with 18 points and 8.5 rebounds a game. And this team looks really scary because they have a lot of depth, both offensively and defensively, and you don't see that on a lot of teams outside of the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to have to compare them to the Boston Celtics a lot going forward because Boston set a precedent last season, and when Boston won the NBA championship and only lost 3 games in their entire playoff run, they looked dominant because they had depth and they had spot scoring off the bench, and they had a combination of stars who could play out both offense and defense, and they had a complete lineup who there's no one that is going to stand out as a sore spot offensively or defensively. And when you look at Cleveland, they look very similar to this because you have an elite backcourt that's averaging both over 20 points a game in Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. You have an elite front court that can defend and score and rebound in Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. You have guys that can score off the bench and in spot minutes in Karis LeVert and Ty Jerome, who are both averaging over 10 points a game despite not having started a single game for them. And then you have other guys like Georges Niang, Isaac Okoro, and Dean Wade, who can also get you buckets off the bench or in a small starting role. And this team just looks absolutely incredible right now. And if I'm going to compare them to the Boston Celtics, I think that they still are the 2nd best team in the Eastern Conference behind Boston, but they're definitely miles ahead of a team like New York or Philadelphia or obviously Milwaukee right now. And the Eastern Conference is struggling right now, and Cleveland is taking advantage of that. And at 12-0, they look unstoppable right now. And I'm previewing a Boston versus Cleveland conference final going forward. And that is a matchup in the playoffs that I would love to see, because it's a battle of two teams who are very deep, and those two teams can go blow for blow, punch for punch, and it will definitely be an amazing series that will most likely go 7 games if they can stay healthy and meet in the NBA playoffs. And I really do think that this Cleveland Cavaliers team could upset the Boston Celtics. And while they may not be as talented on paper as the Celtics, they're definitely a team that can go out and get wins at any time, and as they've proven through the first 3 weeks of this NBA season. So let me know in the comment section below if you think Cleveland is a legitimate title contender, and let me know if you think that they can actually upset Boston in the NBA playoffs. God bless you all, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so I can hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. God bless.